What should you be charging as a videographer? To answer that question, there's a couple of factors we need to consider. Do you want to do day rate, hourly, or per project? Personally, I like to charge by day rate, but again, it also depends per project. Some projects are smaller than others, some projects are a little bit more grand scale. Personally, I think the most effective way to charge a client as a videographer is to charge them a half or a whole day rate. This just makes your time much more worth it. I personally charge a day rate of $750, which is actually fairly low when you consider what other people within my industry are charging. And then I do a half rate of $450 just to make it a little bit more worth my time if I'm going out there for only 4 hours or less. I'd say with a beginner videographer, you're probably charging closer to about $250 to $300 for the day. Trying to get experience, and $300 for the day is typically industry standard if you're getting hired on set for PA, assistant camera operator, so that's not really the worst pay rate. And again, intermediate, I would say you're jumping up anywhere from $500 to $750 per day rate. And typically a half rate isn't directly cut in half. You want to charge maybe 65% of your full day price for your half day rate, just to make it worth going out there for 4 hours or less. And again, this is all going to be a scale as to whether you're beginner, intermediate, advanced, professional. So you kind of just want to take these numbers and from where you're at, kind of give a good guesstimate as to where you should be putting your price point. Another thing you need to consider is equipment fees. We spend a lot of money on this equipment, guys, and it wears and tears. It goes outdated. Things break, things happen, and we have to replace it. We're responsible for that. Because of that, we do want to charge just a small equipment fee on top of our day rates. Personally, I would say rule of thumb is go online, check what all of your equipment is being rented for, cut 50% off of that final price, and that's what you should be charging for an equipment rental. But again, as a beginner, you might not want to do this. You might have just bought the gear, it's in good condition, you just need to get some portfolio, and the portfolio really is worth it even if you're not getting paid. The next thing you're going to want to think about when you're pricing out your videos is what type of video are you guys shooting? Are you shooting shorts and reels for social media? Are you shooting long form content for YouTube or a website? Are you shooting live stream videos for an event or other service? With a live stream, you probably have no editing you have to account for. You just have to set your camera up, figure out how to live stream it, bada boom, bada bing, you're in there. But then what if you're shooting a music video? Music videos typically take 5 to 10 hours to edit by themselves, whereas a live stream takes no time at all. So it wouldn't quite be fair if we charged them the same rate for those projects, seeing as those two projects are completely different scopes of work. Personally, for a short or a reel, which you're going to be getting hired for a ton if you do your job right, should go from anywhere from $50 to $150 depending on how long the reel is, how dynamic the editing needs to be, as well as if there's drone or if there's people talking and you have to use microphone. These are all things I take into account and add on a little bit of an extra charge for. And then as I start to get to more long form videos, I do just start to go back to my industry day rate. So if somebody tells me, hey, I want you to come out, shoot this promo video for us, I kind of take a good estimate in my head. I tell them, okay, we have up to 4 hours to shoot this. I'm going to charge you a half day rate of $500, and this is going to include editing. Typically, the client loves when I say that this includes editing because, again, they don't have any extra tacked on fees after I present them with the price. Understanding your scope of work kind of segues us into our next topic, which is understanding your editing process. Again, if I know an editing process is going to take 5+ hours, I'm going to charge them for that. And I'm going to factor that in to the scope of work. Now, if it's just a talking head video and they need very minimal editing, I'm going to charge them maybe for an hour of editing. Again, I know I said that I typically don't like to do hourly rates, but in my head, it just works out that way that I do break things down into an hourly rate. So typically I try and stick my hourly rate for editing at $50 an hour, which I would say is pretty standard even for freelance editors. So if I think that something's going to take me 3 to 4 hours to edit, I'll typically charge them about $200 on top of whatever my fee is. You also have to keep in mind whether or not revisions are included, how many revisions are included, because people will take advantage of their revisionary periods. So it's always good to be transparent in the very beginning and say, hey, you have one revisionary period, 48 hours after the project is turned into you, Any revisionary periods on top of that are gonna be $50. When you're new, probably won't be able to charge this fee. I actually still don't charge this fee. I try to just do revisions for free as long as they are keeping in mind that I have to go and do all of this and they're not being completely inconsiderate. Also, what if a shoot is 2 hours away? What about travel time? Are we charging them $50 an hour for travel time? Typically not. You can typically get gas reimbursements from your clients of anywhere from $25 to $50 is a reasonable ask. Anything above that, they're just gonna go and hire somebody local. So if you're getting shoots that are 2 hours away, that is when you start to have to factor in, is it worth it for me to take on this shoot with the rate that I am charging, add an extra $50 on top of that for travel, and is that worth it for you? For me in the beginning, I just wanted to take any work I could get, so I didn't even charge a travel fee. I would charge them $300, do my drive time, show up, get the shoot done, and not charge them anything else on top because I just wanted the client. And you also do want to make your clients happy, guys. At the end of the day, this is a creative endeavor more than a business. You don't want to just be a businessman. And one more thing you need to consider when you're thinking about pricing is add-ons. I charge $100 just to bring my drone out. That's a great add-on in my opinion, because I only have that drone out for an extra 10 to 15 minutes maybe during a shoot, but I always charge an extra $100 to bring it out. It's $50 to bring it out for photos, $50 to bring it out additionally to your video. If you want both of them, it's gonna be an extra $100 charge. There's also things like microphones. So if you have to mic up one of your clients and they want to be a talking head within the video, I also charge an extra $100 for that because that does add extra things to the editing process. I have to scrub through the sound to make sure there's nothing in the background. I'm trying to clean up the vocals so that way everything sounds crisp. There's just a lot more that goes into editing somebody talking versus just editing something over music. And there's 100 more things that can go into what you're factoring in as far as your day rate, but I think this is the most simple way to look at it, is just these baseline things. And then you can kind of start to figure out from what professional videographers in your area are doing from yourself, take a percentage of how good you think you're doing compared to them and charge accordingly. Please consider liking and subscribing as it continues to allow me to make videos like this for people like you. And until next time, I love you. Peace.